Hello student, very good morning to all of you. How are you? I hope you all are happy, healthy and fine at home. Do you remember what were we discussing yesterday? Yesterday I think we were discussing about the syllabus of organic chemistry, that is CH-507 organic chemistry paper first. We generally discussing we had discussed there are four chapters. Number one is polynuclear and the heteronuclear aromatic compound. What are the different points involved in that chapter? Point wise detailed syllabus we have discussed, as well as chapter number 2. The name of the chapter number 2 is active methylene compounds. There also we have seen what are the content involved in active methylene compounds. And third chapter we have seen rearrangement reaction and how the contents are present, like introduction, what are the named reaction. Actually we are going to study with respect to the particular points, essentially named reactions such as Beckmann rearrangement, T.Y.B.Sc rearrangement reaction, Baeyer-Villiger rearrangement reaction, then Pinacol-Pinacolan rearrangement reaction. Such kind of the reaction we are going to learn. Then chapter number 4 and the last one, which is the elimination reaction. There we are going to study introduction. What do you mean by 1,1, 1,2, elimination reaction? There mainly E1, E2 and E1CB reaction with their mechanism. And as we know that mechanism means what? In the organic chemistry, generally a detailed study of sequence of steps which are involved in the conversion of reactant into product is known as a mechanism. In the simplest way, mechanism means the language of organic chemistry is nothing but as a mechanism. It means that if you know the mechanism, you can understand the organic chemistry in a better way. So these are the four chapters and their detailed content we have discussed, along with what are the reference book you should refer during this chapter, studying the chapters, 4 chapters, with their page numbers also given. Along with that, I already mentioned in my previous lectures. Here see still references. There are the 10 references they have given. So first reference, R.T. Morrison and Aryan Boyd, Organic Chemistry 7th edition, preferentially, where you get the detailed information about respective chapters. So you go through with this reference book and try to make habit to read the reference book from this year, so that you can achieve more and more knowledge. It will be better for your bright future. And so up till now, I don't think, except few of them, those are the advanced learner, we can say, are the advanced learner, they might have referred reference book which are mentioned at SY-B.Sc level or F.Y.B.Sc level, but maximum student, as per as my information is concerned, I don't think few of them, I accept few of them you might have seen reference book, but many of you might not seen what do you mean by the reference book. Reference book means the book where the all detailed information you will get. So it's a very good book. Another second book, Organic Chemistry. This is a very beautiful book. Beautiful in the sense the language of that book and the illustration of mechanism with colored bond combination and very clear and very simply lucid language is used in that, so the common student can understood that language in a better way. They can understand what the author trying to convey. So that type of the Claydon, Greaves, author and Warren, it's a very good book. Another one, Organic Chemistry, Graham Solom's, which is also as a very good book. Then E.S. Gould, Mechanism and Structure in Organic Chemistry. It's a fully illustration over there. So you can refer these books. All these books, whatever mentioned here, all are available in our central library. So when you confirm your admission, you can take these reference books and try to refer it and try to make your own notes. So that are the very good book. And which reference book here? Fifth one, Peter Sykes, a guidebook to mechanism in organic chemistry. Then reference number 6, I.L. Finaran, which is organic chemistry, volume number 1st and 2nd. It is also as one of the very good book where you can get more information about that content which are mentioned here. Then S.N. Sanyal, Reaction, Rearrangement and Reagents. That is also as a good book, so you can refer it. Then Eli, the international book, Stereochemistry of Organic Compound, Tata MC, Graham Hill, 1989. Then one Indian author is there, D. Nasipuri, Stereochemistry of Organic Compound, Principles and Applications, New Age International Publishers, 3rd edition. And the last but not the least is a very good book which is written by these two Indian authors, Jagdamba Singh and Jaya Singh. The name of that book is a Photochemistry and Pericyclic Reaction, 3rd edition. So now what we are going to discuss today, so today we are going to discuss learning outcomes. Whatever syllabus is there framed or given by university, so what would be the learning outcome that we are trying to discuss here today. Each chapter's outcome we are going to discuss. Let us see here learning outcomes. Learning outcomes. Learning outcomes. Chapter number 1, as we know that, what is it? Chapter number 1, polynuclear and heteronuclear aromatic compounds. Chapter number 1, polynuclear and heteronuclear aromatic compounds. Aromatic compounds. Now, after studying the polynuclear and the heteronuclear aromatic compound, students will able to what? Number one from the chapter, number 1, define and classify polynuclear and heteronuclear aromatic compounds. Define means definition, and define and classify polynuclear and heteronuclear aromatic compounds. This is expected from the student. Student will able to define and classify polynuclear and heteronuclear aromatic compounds. Number 2, write the structure synthesis of polynuclear and heteronuclear aromatic hydrocarbons. Hydrocarbons, you know that the organic compound which is made up by carbon and hydrogen is known as hydrocarbons. Number 3, student will able to understand the reaction and mechanism. As I already told you that mechanism, a detailed study of sequence of steps which are involved in the conversion of reactant into product is known as a reaction mechanism. And number 4, student will able to explain the reactivity of polynuclear and heteronuclear aromatic compounds. Why naphthalene is more reactive over benzene, or why pyrrole is more reactive than thiophene. So that kind of the understanding student will able to, the expectation from the student is like this. Student will able to, number 5, describe the synthesis of chemical reaction of polynuclear and heteronuclear aromatic hydrocarbons. Student will able to describe the synthesis of, for example, in case of the naphthalene, what are the starting material who synthesize, that is known as a Haworth naphthalene synthesis. Haworth describe the synthesis of that. So student must describe the synthesis of that polynuclear and heteronuclear aromatic hydrocarbons. These are the expectation or outcome of this learning process. Chapter number 2, that is active methylene compound. Chapter number 2, active methylene compound. Active methylene compound. Active methylene compound, student should be able to understand. Students should be able to understand. Students should be able to understand. Number 1, meaning of active methylene group. Meaning of active methylene group. Number 2, students should be able to understand reactivity of a methylene group. Number 3, students should be able to understand synthetic application of ethyl acetoacetate and malonic ester. Number 4, students should be able to understand to predict the product with planning and supply the reagent for these reactions. And chapter number 3. After that, there is a chapter number 3. The chapter number 3 is a molecular rearrangement. Molecular rearrangements. Molecular rearrangements. Student will study what they will study. Number 1, what is rearrangement reaction? They should be able to know what is rearrangement reaction. Student will study different types of intermediate in rearrangement reactions. Number 4, student will study. Number 3, student will study to write the mechanism of some named rearrangement reaction and their applications. Number 4, students will study electrocyclic rearrangement with their mechanism. And now lastly, the chapter number 4. Chapter number 4. The chapter number 4 will be elimination reaction. Chapter number 4 is elimination reaction. Elimination reaction. Students should be familiar with. Students should be familiar with. Students should be familiar with. Number 1 and 1-2 elimination. Students should be familiar with E1 and E1, E2 and E1CB mechanism with evidences of these reactions. Students should be familiar with, understand stereochemistry by using models and learn reactivity of geometrical isomers. Students should be familiar with orientation and reactivity in E1 and E2 elimination. Students should be familiar with Huffman and Sejep's orientation. And number 6, students should be familiar with effects of factor on the rate elimination reactions, different factors affecting on it. I think these are the learning outcome of each chapter wise we have discussed here. So tomorrow onward we are going to discuss the actual chapter number First, the name of that chapter is a polynuclear and heteronuclear aromatic compound. We will start with the introduction. What do you mean by polynuclear and heteronuclear aromatic compounds, and classification, and whatever the aromatic compound, why they undergoes readily addition, elimination, electrophilic substitution reaction, but they do not undergo as addition reaction. So this type of the information, this type of the discussion we will discuss in our next lecture. Till then, have a nice day. Thank you.